Good morning. I have a number of friends, and I bring them to you often, who are struggling right now with life and death issues. Some of them are concerned about their children, others are concerned about their spouses, others about other family members and friends. And one of the women told me last week on the phone, she said, "Monique, I find myself in a very dark place right now." She said it haltingly, with hesitation, almost like she shouldn't feel that way. Almost like, as a woman of faith, this is a very difficult position to be in. Often we feel like, because we are people of faith, we don't have a right to feel like we are in the darkness. We feel like, of course, we have a recourse in the God who loves us. And therefore, we shouldn't dwell here. We should find the bright side, right? Lift our eyes to the light and to the sun and have faith. Well, all of these people who are struggling right now are people of deep faith, and still they find themselves in a dark place. It's so mysterious, this journey of life, where our faith gives us hope and offers an anchor, and yet at times we still feel deep, wrenching pain and doubt, doubting ourselves, doubting God, doubting the whole trajectory of our lives. Is there a reason I'm going through this suffering? Is there something I've done that has not pleased God? We know really and truly that's not the answer. God does not retaliate against us by punishing us through terminal illnesses and through the death of our loved ones. That's not the God that we emanate from. And yet, we do ask those questions. And what then is the answer? If God feels remote, how do I draw comfort, consolation, strength from the faith I've professed my entire life? I think sometimes the answer is in the lives and example of those who've gone before us. Not always, but sometimes. And maybe it's worth considering. Elijah, the prophet, felt a great distance from God at times. And once God sent him into a cave and said, "Wait for me there." In that cave, there's no light. There's only darkness. There's no clarity. There's no sight. There's no vision. And you don't know how long you're waiting there, and you don't know why you're waiting there. It's just that you've ended up in this cave. And at one point, Elijah steps to the brink of the cave, to the lip of the cave. And I know you know this story. And there is a huge fire that roars through the land beneath him, and he can see it consuming everything. And God is not in the fire. And he hears this vast tornado of a wind storm that is bending trees in half and rolling boulders and blowing dust clouds. And God is not in the wind. Then there's a massive earthquake that shakes the hill, the foundation upon which he stands. And God is not in the earthquake. And finally, after much time, after waiting in the dark, there comes this small whisper of a sound. And in the whisper is the voice of God. And we don't really know what God said to Elijah. Just like we have no clue what God's going to say to us when we are in that dark cave, in that dark place. The point is that the whisper is there. Huddle with with your friend Elijah in the cave of your darkness. Ask for the ears to hear that whisper when everything around you is crowding out. The noise around you is drowning the sorrow and the burden that you're carrying. And ask to hear that voice. What will God say to you? Because the divine is present, no matter how dark our caves. It doesn't mean we have to put on a happy face. Often we sit in the dark, and many of us accompany each other in the dark. And yet, there is a place there in the dark where God meets us. And sometimes it's just the mystery of why things happen the way they do. We may not get the answer, but truly we are not alone.